Baldur's Gate 3's 8 new subclasses explained. Baldur's Gate 3 is set to get a massive update with Patch 8 in 2025. Patch 8 will come with a host of highly requested features, including photo mode, cross-platform play for multiplayer, and 12 brand new subclasses. The new subclasses will involve a mix of official content from Dungeons & Dragons, as well as homebrewed content from Larian, which has been created especially for Baldur's Gate 3. BG3 Patch 8 subclasses. Here's what to expect from each new subclass. Bard, College of Glamour, can grant allies temporary hit points, charm enemies, and dominate them. College of Glamour. As a College of Glamour Bard, you'll find you have the power to heal friends and command enemies in equal measure. Cast Mantle of Inspiration to bestow your allies with 5 temporary hit points. And should an enemy attack while it is cast, they'll find themselves charmed. Play your hand correctly, and you'll be able to use this to your advantage with Mantle of Majesty. Target charmed enemies and you can command them to flee, move closer, freeze, drop to the ground, or drop their weapon. Barbarian, Path of Giants. Giant's Rage passive grants you the same effect as Giant Potions and favors a playstyle that throws friends, foes, and whatever you've got in your pockets. Opt for the Path of Giants, and your newfound giant strength will make it easier for you to yeet friend and foe alike. Forget chugging potions to pump those muscles. These barbarians benefit from the Giant's Rage passive that grants both strength and size, allowing you to deal additional damage with throw attacks. Pockets weighing you down? Not for you, and your increased carry capacity. Cleric, Death Domain. Toll the Dead cantrip deals necrotic damage to foes and increases that damage if they're already wounded. Also gets the ability to detonate corpses for that extra bit of Divinity OS 2 flair. As a Cleric of Death, you'll find a few dark new tricks up your sleeves, from spells that specialize in necrotic damage to 3 new necromancy cantrips. This includes Toll the Dead, a cantrip that causes 1/8 damage when your cleric rings the bell of impending doom, a number that scales if your target has already been damaged. We've also added the homebrewed ability to explode nearby corpses, damaging enemies. Druid, Circle of Stars. Summon a Starry Form to augment your playstyle with support and damage skills. These druids look to the stars for answers, accessing powers beyond those offered through the classic wild shapes. Taking on one of 3 starry forms for their power, the constellations of the Archer, Chalice, and Dragon. Each one favors a different playstyle and strategy, the Archer dealing radiant damage with astral arrows, the life-giving Chalice restoring hit points to you and others nearby, and the Wise Dragon, allowing you to deal damage with an added bonus to Constitution rolls. The starry forms offer not just a celestial aesthetic, but practical, powerful options to enhance your role as a healer, fighter, or strategist. Paladin, Oath of the Crown. Uphold the law to maintain this oath, and you can taunt enemies and even take damage intended for allies. You've been sworn to uphold the principles of law. Stay true to your oath, and you'll be rewarded with the power to aid your allies and disrupt your foes. Guide your companions in battle with righteous clarity, taunt enemies with strategic interrupts, and keep your party standing strong with divine allegiance, absorbing their damage while restoring their health. Fighter, Arcane Archer. Finally, a ranged option for fighters. The Arcane Archer can banish foes to the Feywild and dish out psychic damage that might blind enemies if they lose a wisdom check. Mastering the dual arts of magic and marksmanship, the Arcane Archer subclass offers unique skills on top of new shooting animations. Banish foes to the Feywild, removing them from the battlefield for a turn, or unleash psychic damage that forces enemies to make a wisdom saving throw or be blinded until the start of their next turn. Monk, Drunken Master. Can drink alcohol from your inventory or found around the world to recover key points. Sharing alcohol with enemies makes them drunk, buffs your armor class, and makes them susceptible to other skills that sober them up and deal psychic damage. Putting the brew in homebrew. As the Drunken Master, you have the ability to consume alcohol straight from your inventory, as well as drink from bottles you see around the Sword Coast, in order to recover ki. By sharing the bottle with your enemies using Intoxicating Strike, you'll generate a buff towards your armor class and your chance to hit drunk targets. Drunk enemies are also susceptible to the Drunken Master's other abilities, like Sobering Realization, which sobers up drunk targets, dealing physical and psychic damage. Ranger, Stormkeeper. Rangers get 3 swarms to command in battle, including a jellyfish mob that deals lightning damage, moths that harm foes psychically, and bees that pierce enemies and may knock them back. The Swarmkeeper subclass provides Rangers with 3 kinds of deadly swarms to assist them in combat. The Cloud of Jellyfish deals extra lightning damage, potentially shocking your enemy. The Flurry of Moths deals psychic damage, giving you the potential to blind your enemy. The Legion of Bees deals piercing damage and forces the enemy to make a strength saving throw or be knocked back 15 feet. Each swarm also has the ability to provide you with teleportation capabilities. Rogue, Swashbuckler. The Swashbuckler rogue baffles foes by blinding them with sand, disarming them, and using fabulous footwork to evade hits. This rogue subclass introduces a range of new actions fit for the piratical life. Play dirty by tossing sand at enemies to blind them. Flick your weapon at a target to disarm them. Or use your new fancy footwork passive while meleeing your enemy to ensure they can't make opportunity attacks against you for the rest of your turn. Sorcerer, Shadow Magic. A homebrew hound, the Hound of Ill Omen, attacks enemies on your behalf, while the Strength of the Grave ability keeps you from dying. Attacking from the shadows also boosts this sorcerer's powers. As a shadow magic sorcerer, you deal in a form of magic that makes you deadliest in darkness. This subclass gives its sorcerer superior dark vision, as well as the ability to shadow walk between places of dim light or darkness. It also lets you call forth the perfectly homebrewed Hound of Ill Omen to harass your foes, and use Strength of the Grave to prevent you from being downed, ideal for those attempting honor mode runs. Warlock, Hexblade. This Warlock's patron comes from the Shadowfell and lets them curse and command foes and recover health by dealing necrotic damage. Hexblade Warlocks make a pact with an entity from the Shadowfell that manifests in the form of magical weapons. Curse your enemies and force their souls to do your bidding. Slay any enemy that isn't generally an element of nature, construct, giant blob, or already dead, and you'll be able to raise their spirit from their corpse for 10 turns. This new summon can deal necrotic damage and will rip away a chunk of your enemy's soul to provide your Hexblade Warlock with healing. Wizard, Bladezinging. Someone's giving Gale a sword instead of a gun. Bladezinging wizards get an ability that increases their agility and focus, and they have a whole suite of new animations for casting spells with their sword. The Bladezinging subclass merges swordplay with wizardry.